Okay, we are back. First, let's check your answers to your review and preview. So for 1065, you see your answer there, and it's written in scientific notation, and then there's 1066, 1067. So go ahead and check your answers real quick, and then we're going to continue. So if you have any questions, you want to ask them during your Zoom session, make sure to add your work in Google Classroom for credit. So we're going to continue with applications of volume part 2, and we're still looking at this activity. So this is the sample result. These numbers are actually taken from the spreadsheet that I showed you. And now we will continue on, and this was using a plate 8 inches in diameter. The max volume is 25.8 cubic inches created by removing a sector with an angle of 66 degrees. So we're going to go on to a very challenging portion. You can try it on your own and then come back and check this, or you can do it with me. So we're now going to examine the additional challenge 10.64. Now that the ice cream shop owner knows how to grate cones with the larger volume, he wants to know how many cones he can make with each tub of ice cream. So here's our tub of ice cream. He measured a cylindrical tub and informed you that it has a diameter of 9.5 inches. That means the radius is going to equal 4.75 inches. And it has a height of 10.5 inches. So the height of our tub is going to be 10.5. Each waffle cone is created from a circular waffle with a diameter of 5 inches. So here's our 5 inches, and then our radius will be 2.5 inches. Then it is packed full and has a half spherical scoop on the top, as shown in the diagram at the right. So this part right here. We don't know what the radius of this part is, and so we'll have to figure that out. What we need to know is how many cones can the owner create with each tub of ice cream. So we're going to go to this, so we have a blank page, and we're going to start by figuring out what the volume of the tub is. And I want my radius, which is 4.75, and I want my height, which is 10.5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use volume equals the area of the base times the height, or pi r squared height. And in this case, it's going to be volume equals pi times 4.7 squared times 10.5. And as I put this in my calculator, I get that I have a volume of 744.26 approximately. And this is inches cubed, or cubic inches. So this is the tub of ice cream. The next thing I need to do is I need to figure out what the height of my cone is and what the radius of my cone is. So I'm going to use the original piece here to help me, and I'm going to do this mathematically. So this is 5 inches, and we're going to use that 66 degrees that we used before, even though this is only 5 inches, not 8 inches. And I notice that if I find the circumference of this, circumference equals the diameter times pi, which is going to be approximately 15.7. And I could actually use that, and I could divide the 66 by this, and I'm going to get approximately 4. But there's a better way to do it. If I take 360 degrees and I subtract my 66 degrees, it tells me how many degrees, or what the circumference is here. And then I'm going to divide that by 360, and I'm going to multiply it by the original diameter, which is 5. And that is going to give me my new diameter, which is approximately 4. It's actually in my calculator 4.083 repeating. Okay, so it's approximately 4. So this gave me my diameter of my cone that I want. Now I need to find the height. So I have this, and I'm going to say, so that means the radius is approximately 2. So this is something I need. So now I'm going to take this part here. I'm going to look at it at the side of this. And so this is 4. If this is 4, then this is 2. And I'm going to make a right triangle right here. My lateral edge happens to be the radius of this circle. And we mentioned this in a previous lesson, that the lateral edge could be important. So I'm going to say this lateral edge is 2.5, and I can use that to find the height of my cone. I can actually do it mathematically. So this is the hypotenuse, and this is one of the legs. So I'm going to use c squared minus, let's say, a squared equals b squared. And we're going to make this equal to a, and this equal to c. And what we're looking for is, we're looking for b, and the height is equal to b. So let's solve this. So we can do 2.5 squared minus 2 squared equals b squared, or the height squared. And this is going to be 6.25 minus 4 equals b squared. So b squared, if we take the square root of that, is going to equal the square root of 6.25. And it turns out that b, or the height, is going to equal 1.5. So now what I know is on my cone, the height is 1.5 and the radius is 2. Now I can find the volume of the ice cream inside the cone without the scoop. So I'm going to say that the cone part, ice cream inside the cone, or the volume of the cone, is going to equal 1/3, and then it's the area of the base, which is pi r squared, or pi times my radius 2 squared times my height, which is 1.5. And this is just the ice cream that is packed in the scoop is what I'm getting. And so when I do that, I get this is equal to, I'm going to put it in my calculator, and I get, it looks like approximately 6.28 inches cubed, or cubic inches. Now, again, this is an approximation. Now I've got to find the scoop on top, and it's half of a sphere. So the formula for a sphere, you recall from Mr. Punch's lesson, is going to be 4/3 pi r cubed. But we want a hemisphere. So that's what this is called. It's called a hemisphere. That's what the scoop is. So wouldn't this be 1/2 of this? So the formula that I am going to use is 1/2 times 4/3 pi r cubed. We're still looking at this right here. So the hemisphere is going to be 1/2 times 4/3 times pi radius cubed, which is going to be referring to this radius of 2. So this is going to equal 1/2 times 4/3 times pi times 2 cubed, or 8. So this equals, we've got 4/6 times 8 times pi, which equals approximately, when I stick this in my calculator, 16.76 inches cubed. So we have one answer here, and we have one answer here. So now we need to go ahead and add these together. So when we do 16.76 plus 6.28, we get a total of 23.04. So we're going to go back to this. Each ice cream cone has a volume of 23.04 inches cubed, and our cylinder has a volume of 744.26 inches cubed. So the question is, what can we do to figure out how many scoops of ice cream, or how many cones what can we do to figure out how many ice cream cones we can make out of this tub of ice cream? If you said divide, you are correct. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to divide. We're going to actually divide this right here, and we're going to say that if we do 744.26 divided by 23.04, put that in our calculator, we get 32.30295,139, but we're going to say 32. So the answer to the problem that we just did right here is 32 cones of ice cream. Quite complicated. Now, I'm going to remove this. If you'd like to look at this here in writing, and it shows that the volume of the ice cream in each cone is 23.04 cubic inches. And we showed you how to do that. You can always go back and look. And then the volume of the tub is 744.26 cubic inches of ice cream. And again, you can always go back and look. So that means that if you take this number here, 744.26, and divide by 2304, you get 32 cones. Now, this is an example written out of what we just did. And when you are all done looking at this and taking notes on it, you want to go ahead and continue by doing the review and preview 1068 to 1071. If you have any questions at all about what we did on here or need any clarification, make sure you ask during your Zoom lesson. This concludes the video.